The thing is, sometimes you might be willing to remove Citibank collections from your credit report, right? Because when you have a derogatory items from Citibank collections, this might have a negative impact on your credit score. So here's an overview I want you to pay attention to. So when we think about removing Citibank collections from your credit report, this can actually come from multiple sources. This can actually, you can see on your credit report, you can have Citibank North America (CBNA) as a collection source, right? You can also have, if you have Citibank collections, this can have this can be a third party sort of a third party source. In other words, the derogatory item didn't come from Citibank itself, but it came from a third party to whom Citibank actually to which Citibank sold your debt to, your overdue debt. Okay, but it's really important to understand that if you did not apply for a credit card, you could actually you can be a victim of identity theft. In other words, somebody might be playing with your social or your name or whatever. So I want to first talk about CBNA because you might see CBNA on your credit report, and so CBNA is the third largest credit card issuer in the U.S., supplying own brand and co-branded cards for companies like Best Buy. And a CBNA entry on your credit report probably indicates that Citibank has conducted a hard credit inquiry into your account. And this is so important that you need to pay attention. However, other institutions use the acronym CBNA on credit reports. So you have a Credit Bureau of North America, and this institution collects unpaid debts on behalf of third-party companies. So if you owe money and CBNA is on your credit report, this credit bureau could be trying to collect an unpaid bill, and it will phone you and send you letters. You can also have a community bank NA. So this is a small bank that offers personal and business banking services to residents in New York and Pennsylvania. If you applied for a loan or line of credit, it could conduct a hard inquiry. And you can also have community bank, okay? And community bank is a credit card provider that helps manage store credit cards for large brands such as Victoria's Secret. So if you recently applied for a store credit card, this company may conduct a hard inquiry. So when we talk about the Citibank collection, you can have a CBNA inquiry stay on your credit for up to 2 years. However, the impact can be bigger if you have a short credit history or several hard inquiries in a short period. By the way, boss, welcome back to the show. It's really a pleasure to have you here and make yourself comfortable. You are going to enjoy today's conversation. So the big question is, if you want to remove Citibank collections from your credit report, it's important to really find first the source of the derogatory item. In other words, you need to validate it. Is it valid? Is it actually, does it make sense based on your financial situation right now? What should you do if you didn't authorize a hard inquiry? If you didn't apply for any line of credit and CBNA appears on your credit report, either someone may have committed fraud using your credit card or the entry is a mistake. And mistakes do happen. I mean, don't think that those big banks or those credit card providers, they don't make mistakes. They make mistakes also because there are people working there. Someone may have mistyped a social security number or confused your credit profile with someone with a similar name. Either way, you will need to dispute the entry, but if you are a victim of identity theft, it may make your life complicated. If you suspect the entry is fraudulent, take the following steps to ensure that it doesn't have a major impact on your finances. So the first thing you want to do is you want to contact the company. Very important. You want to reach out to Citibank and ask for a documentation that proves you triggered the inquiry. Tell the bank that you believe the account is fraudulent and would like to speak to a fraud specialist to resolve the issue, okay? And Citibank should provide information that authenticates the inquiry. They have a legal obligation to do so. If it cannot, it must contact the 3 major credit bureaus to remove the entry from your credit report. Okay, so the mailing address that we have here is Citibank Customer Service, PO Box 6500, and they are in South Dakota. Okay, and so we'll put the address on the screen, and the phone number is 800-950-5114, 800-950-5114, and so that's number one. Number two, you want to document and report the fraudulent activity. I mean, because the whole thing is you want to keep a paper trail so that if something were to happen, you are able to defend yourself properly. You want to notify also the major credit bureaus. And so after notifying the FTC about possible fraud, You need to notify the major credit bureaus. We're speaking here about TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. You must complete each bureau's paperwork and freeze your accounts to prevent new fraudulent accounts from appearing. You can also request a free 90-day fraud alert from the credit bureaus to inform you about any new activity on your account that may result from identity theft. Identity theft is a biggie nowadays. So you want to be clear about that. And you also want to monitor your credit moving forward. So because if we're trying to remove Citibank collections from your credit report, you still have to think about your credit score prospectively. Okay, boss. I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to remove Citibank collections from your credit report, or CBNA from your credit reports. So if you discover a hard inquiry from Citi cards or CBNA on your credit report, you've probably applied for one of Citibank's credit cards. So it's nothing to worry about, right? I mean, however, if you haven't applied, it could be a reporting error, or someone may have stolen your identity. Now, one thing I need to clarify here is that when we talk about removing Citibank collections from your credit report, remember that Citibank's actually there isn't a wide constellation of Citi cards, Citi cards that Citibank issues, and you got to be clear as to the fact that there are some codes. And Citibank North America uses the code Citi cards CBNA to represent all its credit cards on credit reports. And Citibank offers several Visas and MasterCards with different benefits and for different purposes, including you have travel, for instance, you have rewards, you have business, you have balance transfer, you have cashback, and you have 0% APR. And so should you apply for a Citibank credit card, this will result in a hard inquiry appearing on your credit report, which could lower your credit score. Now, the fact that your credit score goes down temporarily is not a biggie because, I mean, you might probably lose like 5 to 10 points. That's totally good. But if you have a short credit history, then the impact will be big, because if your credit score is, say, 500 now, losing 5 to 10 points or even 15 points could be really detrimental, as opposed to someone who has a 700 credit score, right? So we have to put everything in context here. And what I want to say here is that you have to really pay attention to the timing of your application, because there are moments when you want to really make sure that you apply for a credit card, for a new credit card for that matter, when your CUR is already low. Okay, because if your CUR is high, now is not the good time to apply for a Citi cards, because it's going to increase the CUR even further. And the Lord knows that the CUR, you want to have a CUR as low as possible. CUR, credit utilization ratio. As you're trying to really remove Citibank collections from your credit report, you have to remember that a hard inquiry from Citi cards at CBNA will affect your credit score in a pretty specific way. Now, applying for any form of credit requires you to consent to lenders examining your entire credit history, otherwise known as a hard inquiry, prior to approving you for a loan or credit card. And hard inquiries appear on your credit report for 2 years and can reduce your credit score, but the effect diminish over time, right? 5 to 10 points. Now, lenders can apply for your reports from any or all of the 3 credit bureaus. We're speaking here about Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And your credit score with whichever bureaus they check may reduce. Although you shouldn't worry about one hard inquiry on your report, several can affect your score significantly. So only applying for credit you are likely to get to keep hard inquiries to a minimum is a great thing to think about. Now, when we talk about removing Citibank collections from your credit reports, remember that when Citi cards CBNA appears on your credit report, you have hard inquiries and you have soft inquiries. Now, hard inquiries are the ones that are really damageable they're damaging to your credit score. So you might lose a few points here and there, but soft inquiries have no impact. Okay, so be very clear as to when you want to initiate a dispute, because if you have soft inquiries on your credit report, chances are they'll go away, and not even go away. They are only visible to you, and so no other lender will see that you have soft inquiries on your credit report. So it's important. So soft inquiries, just to recap here, soft inquiries result from you, lenders, or other companies checking your credit score. But those inquiries, the soft ones, do not affect your score and may not appear on your credit report like your official credit report that everybody sees. So it's important to keep that in mind. Boss, I want to quickly remind you of today's topic. We are having a conversation about how to remove Citibank collections from your credit report. Let me give you the step-by-step you need to think about if you want to remove once and for all Citi cards CBNA from your credit report. If you find a questionable entry on your credit report, it's possible to remove it. You want to dispute it with Citibank and the credit bureaus. So thanks to the Fair Credit Reporting Act, you can dispute any suspect entries on your report. You want to contact Citibank and the relevant bureaus online by phone or by email. And you do this within 30 days of noticing an inquiry you don't recognize, right? It's really important. And you want to engage a credit repair company if the amount we're speaking about is kind of consequential. For example, if you see a Citibank collection for $10,000 versus $1 million or versus $100,000, the stakes are not the same. So it's one of those things where you might want to think about engaging a credit repair company to really do the job for you. And in other words, you are outsourcing the cleaning to a third party. Now, credit repair companies retain specialists that could help you dispute an unwarranted hard inquiry on your report and can also assist with other credit issues, including you have bankruptcy, for instance, you have liens, you have judgments, you have foreclosure. Yeah, there are cases where you have foreclosure, so you want to pay attention to that. You have debt in collections, repossessions, so those repos that you really are familiar with, you want to stay away from them. But if there is a problem, then you also want to retain the help of a credit repair company. If you have identity theft or even charge-offs, those credit repair companies can help you. You can also do something else that's important. You can monitor your credit score. So, because the thing is that when we talk about monitoring your credit score, we're speaking about having a full-time foundation to your score, so that you don't have to remove Citibank collections from your credit report, because this is after the fact. But if you have a credit monitoring like a credit monitoring service, you are able to do things beforehand, a proactive approach, right? And so if you have a Credit Sesame or Credit Karma, those services will basically alert you to changes in your credit report, enabling you to respond to an erroneous entry within the 30-day limit. Also, maintaining a credit card can improve your credit score. Applying for one will result in a hard inquiry. So it's one of those things where you have to just make sure that timing is really in your favor, if you will. Let me give you a bonus here. So when we talk about removing Citibank collections from your credit report, you need to really understand that there is a possibility to always remove old Citibank debt from your credit report, okay? And there is a process you need to follow. First thing first, you want to verify the age. If it's not falling off, then the credit reporting companies have not received the right date. And so with a court action like judgment or bankruptcy, determining the date is easy. You count from the day it was filed. And delinquency is more difficult. The regulatory language on it is very complicated. However, the date that you first became delinquent and after which never caught up is the date that should be counted. Okay. And then you also want to confirm the age of sold off debts. So sold off this Citibank debt. So one point that confuses even the expert, no matter how many times the debt is sold and resold, the date that counts for the 7-year credit report clock is the date of delinquency with the original creditor. If a collection agency bought your 10-year-old retail card debt and has started putting it on your credit report with a different date, that's a no-no, okay? You also want to get all three of your credit reports. Don't just get your TransUnion, Equifax, and then forget about your Experian. No, you want to have a clear idea about what really happens across the board. So your 3 credit reports from consumer reporting agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion are not identical. Just keep that in mind. So the old debt in question might be listed in some credit reports, but not others. So to find out, get a copy of all 3 of your reports. And a federal law entitles you to request a free copy of each report once every 12 months. and you can download them for free at annualcreditreports.com. So that's really good. And once you find out which bureaus are listing the debt, you want to contact them. And that's really cool because your credit report will include contact information and dispute instructions from Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. So those are really cool. And you want to send letters to the credit bureaus also. I mean, just calling them over the phone is not going to do. You want to really engage with them on a more official way. And it's one of those things where you want to be sure that you are on the right side of the law. If the debt really is too old to be reported, it's time to write to the credit bureaus to request its removal. When you dispute an old debt, the bureau will open an investigation and ask the creditor reporting it to verify the debt. If it can, the debt has to come off your credit report. The Fair Credit Reporting Act requires credit bureaus to correct or delete any information that can be verified or that is incorrect or incomplete, typically within 30 days. So otherwise, they are in violation and you are within your right to file a lawsuit as well as file a complaint with the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. So that's really important. Now, make sure to craft a case so strong that the creditor will have to acknowledge that it's correct or present tangible evidence to the contrary. Copies of any documents included. Now, avoid making statements that could restart the debt clock if the statute of limitation has not expired. As with the credit bureau, send the letter certified with the return receipt requested. The creditor has 30 days to investigate your claims and respond. You also want to get special attention. So if your initial letters don't actually do the trick, you may have to kick your approach up a notch. And so take a few minutes to research the company reporting the debt. And so direct your next letters to the president's attention at the company's headquarters address. And because you get a different kind of response from the office of the president than you do from customer service. Again, send it certified and keep a copy in your files. Okay. And you can also, try to contact the regulators. If the collector is in any way, shape, or form a bank, it has a federal regulator, and they actually take individual complaints and contact the companies about the complaints they receive. So that's really another way to think about, shortcutting the whole process. And also talk to an attorney. I mean, if the amounts we're talking here about, if these amounts are consequential, that's really an important element to think about. Now, consulting an attorney doesn't always mean pursuing a lawsuit. Sometimes all you need is a letter on legal stationery to make a creditor review the records. If despite your best efforts, the creditor or collector is keeping old debts on your report, an attorney can also advise you as to whether a lawsuit is a great option. If you do talk to an attorney, choose the one who specializes in consumer rights. So when you are dealing with a Fair Credit Reporting Act, it is very convoluted and you need someone who's done it, who understands it, and who knows where the holes are. So this is an important element to really pay attention to. And you got to really think about this throughout a certain number of years. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I spoke to you about how to remove Citibank collections from your credit report. So I gave you the overview and then I give you the bonus. And now I'm doing the recap. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.